Hi, I'm Logan Hickey.
And I'm Robertson, also known as the apple in your eye, also known as the smartest crayon in the tool shed.
And this is Quick Call an Adult, the podcast where we take questions from our friends, family, and loved ones and answer them. They can vary from absolutely adult to what the hell. And we have fun
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah. And you have fun listening, hopefully.
Now, I think today is our first episode where we've actually got what I would consider somewhat like adulting related questions.
Right? Like across the boards, too.
So this is pretty fun. Originally, I was actually going to incorporate some Christmas questions and realized that people might get mad at that this early
Oh,
into the season. So
yeah.
we're going with adult ones today.
Yeah, what's your opinion on that? When do you think it's a good time to go to Christmas?
November 1st.
Oh, interesting.
100%.
I say
I am a Christmas hoe. I am
oh.
as soon as Halloween's over, I'm like, okay, Christmas time. Not because of any
Mm,
religious reasons, just the general feel of the season actually brings me joy.
mm.
Like I love the sparkly lights. I love all of the like the trees. I even like the snow. Um, so I am a Christmas dude.
That's fair, that's fair. Yeah. I mean, I'm not far behind. I'm like mid-November. I get it. Uh After Remembrance Day. Whatever.
Fair.
You go ham. Put up the Christmas trees. Put up everything. You got it.
Yeah, I have respect for Remembrance Day. I
Hmm.
will hold space for silence um, on Remembrance Day. But for me, it brings me joy. And I think, especially this year, we all need a little bit more joy in our lives. So I
Totally.
don't see any problems with folks. Like, I don't understand people who are like, oh, it's disrespectful to the people who fought. I mean, cool. But it's also just a sparkly light. Like, like a
Oh yeah. And
sparkly
this
light does not spit in the face of anybody who has fought for our country.
no, not at all. I'm just saying like day wise. And the thing is too, is I'm not the person that if I see someone putting up a like the night of Halloween, taking down their decorations at like 4 a.m. and putting up Christmas lights, I'm just like, if that makes you happy, do it.
Mhm.
I'm not generally someone who cares.
The
So
the only thing now, I love Christmas and we'll listen to Christmas year round, but do not start playing Christmas in stores on retail, like for retail workers, before like December 1st, because um,
mm,
I will listen to it and be happy, but there are so many people out there who it will actually just like piss off, and especially retail workers where they're like, we're forced to listen to Christmas. Like
mm,
it can be problematic for people, and I totally get it. For a bunch of people it's a happy season, for a bunch of people it's triggering as hell. I get it.
that's funny because I was thinking when I was thinking about when the question of like when do you start, I was thinking about Christmas music. That's why I said mid-November. Honestly, if you want to put up your lights at the beginning of November, fucking go for it.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
For me, it's just like
Yeah.
seeing pretty lights. It adds prettiness to things. But like hearing Mariah, if I hear Mariah Carey, that's the one thing I hate. All I Want for Christmas Is You. And then she went and re-recorded it with Justin Bieber, which to me
What?
was creepy as yeah. They have a whole thing where she's like, because she's quite a bit older than him, and he was like 18, 19, I think, as at the time. I could be totally misremembering that, so please correct me if I'm wrong. But
Uh-huh.
he was like super young, and she's definitely not his age, and singing about how all she wants is him for Christmas. And I was like,
Whoop.
that seems a little bit like pedophiliac to me. And I'm like, nah, no.
Let's just always play Burr Lives and the Muppets and the Muppets.
Yep. Oh, I'm a fan of Trans Siberian Orchestra Christmas album because it's got that rock
Oh,
as well with the Christmas, and I'm definitely down for that. Their Carol of the Bells is the shit.
nice.
So good. Um, I believe it is me though starting us off today with the real adult questions.
Mm.
Um, so my
Let's do
first
it.
my first question is, when was the last time you did laundry?
Oh, yo, don't do this to me. That's a low blow. Actually, let me just look at my laundry basket. Actually, because I don't remember it. based on the angle and the degree of the amount of laundry, I would say it's actually only been like half a week.
That's not too bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did a little laundry, I think, 2 days ago because I needed to do my sheets and I had a bunch of clothes. And hey, just like in those previous episodes, I changed my sheets like an adult,
Hey, look at that.
right?
I actually, that's what I did a couple days ago too.
Hey, always a good thing. And to be honest, you feel fresh the first like couple nights. You're like, ooh, it still smells like dryer, and you feel
Yeah.
kind of crisp.
Oh, it's so not okay. It's the best thing. You wash your sheets in your towel, and then you go have a nice long shower, get out, and it's just so warm and fluffy, and you're like, ooh, yeah. And then you come in and you crawl into bed, and you're like, ooh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You're like, that's. I mean, usually I'm just like, oh, this is pretty cool.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I
Yeah.
mean, I made my bed the other day too, and I never make my bed because my opinion is like, it's just for me. So who do I like? Why do I care? But
Yeah.
it actually felt really good because they were also like freshly laundered sheets. So I was like, oh, I feel so
Mm,
fancy.
yeah. That's so nice.
I
Nah, it's
agree.
so good.
Fancy
That's just
sheets
lying. Fancy sheets.
for fancy
And
feats.
oh, that's the one.
You're
That's the
welcome.
one.
I
So
think that's
speaking
the
of
name of this episode.
it has to be. But
Fancy. I'm gonna
speaking
write
of
that down.
relaxing in your fancy sheets with your fancy feet, when I'm relaxing, I like to just reach over for a nice cold drink. And I was asked by a good friend of mine, when you're just sitting relaxing and you want to have, an alcoholic bevy, what can I say? I am of the age that is legal. You reach over. What is the alcoholic beverage you like to reach for? Let's do one alcoholic, one non-alcoholic, because I understand that it's not for everybody.
Oh, of course. I'm sure we probably have at least one sober listener. Um,
Absolutely.
for alcoholic, um, I'm a big fan of ciders. Pretty much anything Summersby, though sometimes they can be too sweet. Like the pear one, I can have like one, but then it's like
Mm,
too sweet, and the headache is a bitch. Um,
yes.
but yeah, I would say probably a nice like semi-sweet cider or a glass of red wine. Actually, no, no.
Mm.
My favorite though, my absolute favorite, and I'm just going to plug this company, this winery, because I love them so much.
Oh,
It's Kawartha. I believe it's called Kawartha Wineries. And while I am talking about it, I am going to bring them Kawartha. No, Kawartha
I was gonna say I thought
County
Kawartha was the ice cream,
Wines. Yes,
or
but
that
it's
could be.
also a county.
Do they make
Um,
wine and ice cream?
well, it's a whole yeah. Kawartha County Wines is what it's called. It is up in. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are
Yo, if they're
you?
making wine and ice cream over there, they are a college person's
It's
dream.
not this. I mean, they don't do it all in the same store.
They
Okay,
do it in
okay.
the same building.
It's just outside of Buckhorn, and they are phenomenal. They don't do any grape wines. That's what's really cool about it. Is everything in their winery is fruit wines.
Raisins.
It's
Oh,
raisins. Yeah, it's fruit wine, and they also have ciders. And if I'm not mistaken, every fruit they use is sourced, if not locally in the immediate area, in
oh.
In Ontario. They also have a whole bunch of products there from um, like local farmers and crafts people, like hot sauces and stuff. Um,
What?
and the service there is fantastic. You have to be careful when you go though, because they let you sample as much little samples of wine as you want, and you could try
Mm.
everything and stumble out of their loaded. I think that's part of their strategy is get you loaded so you buy all their wine.
I mean, it's not a bad strategy. I've heard worse.
Right, but to anybody in Ontario, especially in the GTA Plus, we'll call it, if you ever make it out to Buckhorn, go check out Kawartha County Wines because they are fantastic and the customer service is so good.
Nice. You
Oh,
learn
and
something new every day.
quick, non-alcoholic, I
Yeah.
like a nice cold Pepsi or
Ooh.
apple juice, but
Ooh.
like ice cold. Like the cup is all ice and like a little bit of apple juice for flavor. Like I like it
Mm.
real cold.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. 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 Yeah. I would have said cider and a wine too, but if you
Mm.
remember last episode, I had a fun night with wine, so I don't drink it anymore. But or I have trouble drinking it now. But yeah, there's one called bootleg whiskey cider, which is hard to find, but it's just it's so good. Um, but as I I had a well, how shall I put this? I had a troubled relationship with alcohol last year. So these days, 9 times out of 10, it's a non-alcoholic I reach for, and so this is where here we go. Get ready for this. Yes, I know I have voiced before. I do love me a cold Dr Pepper. You can never go wrong with a cold Dr Pepper. It's
Oh,
just you can't.
I have an issue with Dr. Pepper. That's very specific.
Then this is the last episode of the podcast. Not kidding.
But it's specific because I was really sick at one point. Um,
Ew.
and I drank a Dr. Pepper because I like Dr. Pepper, and then I threw it all up, and my throw up tasted like Dr. Pepper. So I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Dr. Pepper because I do still enjoy it, but I have to
Mm.
be careful when I drink it because I can sometimes get like the remembering of how it tasted coming up. So
Oh, that's not nice. Well, here,
I'm hit or miss
option
with it.
two. No, fair. The other option though is I love peace tea. It is so
Oh
good.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
And
it just
Arizona green tea with ginseng and honey, very specifically.
ooh, yeah.
It comes
That's
in like
good.
the big cans that used to be like 99 cents, and now they're $1.29.
Oh, but
And
yeah,
you
like
can
peace
merge
teas.
that with alcohol too. I have found
Mm.
that it couples very well with Smirnoff vanilla vodka.
Oh,
Very tasty.
nice. Well, yeah. I mean, like when I'm
Wait,
going
which peace
grocery
tea?
shopping, ooh, I like the. I actually literally have one sitting on my counter. I had one last night. I like the raspberry one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the peach one's also quite good, but it's just like when you're going shopping, it's 89 cents. You just treat yourself to a little tea as you're on your walk home, or your little iced tea on your walk home. It's so good. It's just mwah, chef's kiss.
I like it. I like it. I love that.
Yeah. You know what else I like?
What?
Questions.
Segue.
Segue.
Is this me? Yes. Next one on my end is how do you get out of bed in the morning? So I'm gonna I want to break this down into two things specifically. One, I want to know how you physically get out of bed in the morning. If you do anything fancy, what's your routine? But I also am curious. I want to talk about, and this will be a soapbox moment, and I'll declare it when we start talking about that specifically. But I just want to talk about the mental health aspect of that a little bit,
Mm,
especially with the current climate of things going on in terms of the pandemic and the toll on mental health.
mm.
So I'd like to touch on that too, but let's start with the light, and then we'll soapbox for a few minutes.
Yeah, totally. Um, yeah, I will say that of course we all have days. I do struggle with waking up, obviously. We all got stuff that we're working through, but I really like to first wake up either with a song or a YouTube video, just watch it like no glasses on, like gross. And then depending on how I feel, I either exit the bed in an intense or a funny way. I either do the feet first worm slide onto the floor, or I try to do like a sick, I like balance on my hands and do a quick like 360 out of bed, land on both my feet, do like a little X-Men, like Spider-Man landing. And then I drink some water, and then I pee. I go to the bathroom. I don't just stand there and do it.
You just stand
Uh,
there, pee.
and
You got
then
the
I go
pee
about my
corner
day.
of your room.
I do. Yeah, it smells great.
Ew.
Mom and dad, my mama and papa done raised me good. No, but it like, I don't know. I just like, you start your day with a little bit of fun. And so
Mhm.
as soon as I'm out of my like morning, like little haze, little fog, I think, all right, how are we getting out of the bed this morning?
uh, I'm not gonna lie. I know myself very well, so I set two alarms. Lately, it's been one at 8 o'clock and one at 8:30 because I know I have enough wiggle room in my mornings that I can afford the extra half an hour. And I kind of toss and turn for a little bit, check any morning emails, and then just kind of roll out of bed. I have to sort of build up the like desire to get out of bed because I have a weighted blanket and it keeps me nice and snuggly.
Oh,
My only only issue with the weighted blanket is I was a dummy when I ordered it because they recommend for my height a certain weight. I think it's 25 to 30 pounds of blanket, but I was like,
Mm.
no, that seems like a lot. So I'm going to get a 20 pound. And to be honest, it could be a little heavier.
Mm.
So I'm like, oh, drat. And when this one runs out, like when this one wears through, I'll probably get the heavier one.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but I definitely recommend it if you have any sleep issues. But make sure you get one that is meant to stay cool. So yes, you get a little bit toasty because of the pressure, because it does kind of feel like a very light hug. Um, but the fabric, if you get one made with glass beads, they're little tiny like tiny glass beads and cotton or a cotton type material, it actually stays fairly cool at night. So you do feel like cozy, but not overheating, which I worried about because I am a furnace at night.
Mm.
So now I want to take a moment and we're going to get up on our soapbox and I'm going to limit this to about 5 minutes. So if you want to skip ahead 5 minutes, now would be the time to do it.
All right.
Right now in the world, there's a whole bunch of hectic and scary and hard things that we're dealing with right now. Um, so how do you when you feel like the world is kind of going to shit? How do you get up in the morning? How do you get out of
Um,
bed?
it's hard. Cause um, as once again as we all do, I'm not going to go into specifics, but
Hmm.
I'd struggle with mental health as well, and I can't say the word apparently, but it's part of what I struggle with is, and you and I have talked about this a lot, is that my dreams that I have very vividly dream. Part of being a gamer. I also eat a lot of cheese. I hear that helps. But sorry, being serious. I 9 out of 10 times my dreams are very vivid nightmares. So it does. I do need to take some time every single morning to kind of like go through and make myself okay with what I just had to kind of like go through, for lack of better terms.
Yeah.
And what really helps with that is I start my day by watching something that makes me feel good, or I start my day with a song that I really love. And then I always make sure that, like, and it's a little psychological thing of it, like, I'm trying to drink more water. So every time my feet hit the ground after doing my sick backflip out of bed, I drink some water. So then I start my day immediately, having relaxed a little bit, taken some time for myself, done something that's made me happy, and then
Mhm.
done something that has furthered my health. Those three things are enough to make me brush off of whatever I was feeling in bed and just kind of like leave the initial struggles of waking up in the bed so I can move forward in the day. At least that works for me.
For me, I would say, and I'm going to keep it really simple. Like, I mean, I've mentioned it before. I have depression and struggle with that. Um, but for me, I just remember that and try to remember that everything is temporary. So when they're bad days, and even like ones that are extremely bad, where I feel sort of frozen and held in place by the weight of the world, I try to remind myself, some days more successfully than others, that the shit storm is temporary. um, you're in the eye, in a really bad day, it's like you're in the eye of the storm and you don't know how to get through, but it will pass. And there is nothing in this world that we cannot move past in some way or another. Um, as long as we create the right plan and ask the right people and know when to ask for help. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it's important to just acknowledge that everything is temporary. Even just like even us here on this planet, we're only here for what I think the oldest person is like 115 or something record holding. So like really, you have basically 100 or so years. Then that's temporary. That is a fart in the wind on the earth, on the face of the earth. So just try to remember that it will pass, even when it feels like it won't. It will
Mm-hmm.
pass. Things will get better. And then actively do something in your day that is going to, even if it's a small thing, going to make you happy. And Even if that is like you take a real good dump first thing in the morning, like that can be satisfying. And then you just did a good thing. Everybody
You slide
poops.
out of your bed like a worm.
Exactly. And then you get a worm sliding out of you.
Oh my god. Yeah,
And
but I
this is
think
the end of our soapbox moment. We end on a
well,
shitty note. You're
I'll just
welcome.
say one more thing though, kind of building off what you, if I may.
Yeah, of course.
Um, I think all it comes down to is be gentle with yourself. When I did that positivity day with my students, I looked at each one of them and I was like, uh, this actually yelling at a bunch of kids made me figure out how to word this properly. So I need to yell at children more often. But be gentle with yourself, because there is only one person that every day for your entire life you have to go to sleep. Like you go to sleep beside at the end of the night and wake up beside at the beginning of the morning, and it is yourself. So why not make that, for lack of better terms, roommate situation the best one that you could have? Be
Mhm.
gentle with yourself.
You have to live with yourself.
Yeah.
So have compassion. Now, to be fair, I'm really bad at the self compassion thing, something I'm still working on.
So I'm gonna
But
yell at you every single day.
every single day, I just hear Robertson's voice, which is why I'm in therapy. Segue.
Segue.
We have now
How
stepped off our
many of you
soapbox.
segue? How many of you are in therapy with Robertson's voice in your head?
Robertson is actually the name of the doll I use in therapy to describe all my issues.
Oh my
That is a
god.
joke. Sorry, I don't know where that came from.
Oh my-
What is your next question? Shut me up, please.
I had to cover the microphone. That made me pee a little. That was funny. Um, so speaking of starting your day right, this question is breakfast. Yes and no, yes or no, and how do you do it?
Ooh. For me, okay, I try not to skip breakfast.
Mm.
But I don't always have the appetite first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
So and I mean, studies vary, right? Like there's some dietitians and whatever that say, eat breakfast first thing in the morning. Other people go, wait a little bit because then you can capitalize on the fasting. Like,
Mm.
whatever. I think it just comes down to what's best for you. Some days you can't eat breakfast right away, but you should eat a meal at some point. But I personally like breakfast. I think breakfast, other than tacos and sushi, breakfast is my favorite meal of the day because I love what?
Meal of the day. So tacos and sushi are part of your meals of the day.
Well, sometimes
So it's just the
tacos.
way you
Sorry, let me
worded it.
clarify. Tacos and sushi are like my favorite foods. Um,
That's fair.
but I also really, really love breakfast foods. Give me
Mm.
some fried bologna with on a slice of toast with an egg on top of it. Sunny side or over
Oh.
easy, and then I add a little bit of ketchup, salt and pepper, and then when you cut in the egg yolk, if it's nice and runny, will mix with everything. So good. Very yummy way to start the day.
Nice.
So I said,
Nice,
sorry,
nice, nice.
but the question wasn't what do you eat? It's like, do you? Yes, when I
No,
can, I do eat
it was
eat
it was
breakfast.
what yes and no and how. So
Ah,
you did
yes.
answer it correctly.
How? With a fork and knife.
That is the I just use my face. I don't even use my hands.
Just
Um
and face plant into food. Your beard is now covered.
yeah, it gives me snacks for later in the day. Um
Exactly.
yeah, I discovered yesterday the power of having I didn't have a milk mustache. I had a dip mustache. My beard became spinach dip and it was amazing. Um
Ooh, that actually does
but
sound really yummy.
right, I didn't have to extend my arm to get to the dip. I just had to put the chip. I'm going to stop that. Uh but for me, breakfast is super important. I love my breakfast. I don't function without my breakfast. You don't want to see me without breakfast. Um and I do the same thing. I It's like it's also like my little I don't know how to. It's my little ritual, for lack of better terms, at the beginning of every day. I start with the coffee, and then I make this magnificent egg sandwich that I'm quite proud of. You do toast. You get your choice of either butter or cream cheese, depending on if you're feeling fancy, and then plop some salsa on that. While you're doing that, you throw some eggs on. Ooh, yummy, delicious. And you sprinkle some meatless ground beef in with the or regular ground beef. I really like Guardian meatless ground beef. I think it's the
Mm-hmm.
bomb.com. Sprinkle that in with the egg, and then let it cook. Flip it over, let it cook while you put cheese on top. Cheese melts. Slap that onto the bread, and then you just put a little bit of ketchup on it, and you've got an egg sandwich that'll make you ready to take on the day.
That does sound quite yummy, actually.
Yeah, I
But
do.
but I
I
have a
eat it every
question.
single morning.
I have a question for you.
I have an answer.
Have you ever put butter on a Pop Tart? It's so friggin' good. For
I've never
anyone who
put
doesn't know,
butter.
that is a Family Guy reference.
Oh, I was like, that's insensitive. I can't eat Pop Tarts. I'm gluten free.
Oh God! Speaking of gluten free, um, my mom bought me a while back what are basically gluten free Pop Tarts, and I have never tasted something so vile before. It just did. They had like the filling was just the wrong combination of I don't know what, and
Oh,
the actual part that would be like the biscuit is what I'll call it was just unpalatable. Like it was not fun.
uh, I will keep that in mind.
Yeah, just I think they were. No, you know what? I don't. I'm not even. They might have been Glutino actually. Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
I've
it
seen
was
the.
not good.
Yeah, I've seen them and I've considered buying them, so I'm gonna keep that in mind. I'm just not gonna do it.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
My next question and my final question:
Ooh.
how weird is it to go to a close friend's wedding?
Uh. uh okay. Here, I'm spilling the tea here. I've never actually been to a wedding,
Like at
so
all?
ever in my
Oh.
life. So I don't know how they actually work or like what happens at them. So I actually can't say that I'm gonna be in a friend's wedding coming up. I'm just freaking excited. Both of them are close friends of mine, and I just can't wait. Like I'm gonna be ugly crying, and it's gonna be amazing. I'm so excited for them. So I don't suppose they're both close friends of mine. So I'm really excited. But once again, I don't know what happens at weddings, so I don't know if it's going to be awkward.
That's so funny. I would say, for me at least, I've never really been to a close friend's wedding. There's been a family wedding here or there, but I was invited to where I'll call them probably my longest friends wedding. I've known her for oh God, how old's 20? How old are you, Robertson? You're the same age as my brother.
I'm 24.
I've known her for 24 years because we met. Our parents met shortly after my brother and her brother were born, and our families are best friends. But for me, it feels awkward because I'm single. Because I'm very aware that, like, for some reason at like weddings, there's always seems to be this pressure of like bringing a plus one and like showing up with someone and like showing that I too am in a happy relationship as the married person or person getting married. So I feel like there's this
Oh.
weird pressure on people to be like, I'm not single. I'm not the sad single person at the wedding. So it freaks me right the fuck out. I'm not going to lie.
Hmm.
I had like a full on anxiety spiral because I
Oh.
got the invite for the wedding and it was like, will you be bringing a guest? And the wedding is next year. And I'm like,
Mm.
and like late next year, if I'm remembering correctly, like fall. And I was just like, I immediately was like, oh my God, do I put yes or no? And then it turned into a, if I say no, but then I get a partner in that time, will they be mad at me for not inviting them to the wedding and being the date to the wedding? And then I'm like, if
Mm.
I say yes, but then I don't have the problem, I have the partner, then I'm like at the last minute either going A, who wants to come to a wedding with me, or B, telling the bride and groom, sorry, you spent the money on the food for the extra person, but I'm actually not bringing them. So that turned into a whole anxiety spiral about going to the
Mm.
wedding.
Well, you
So
could
there's
do this
anxiety for me at least.
win-win. You could say there was a plus one, but one day we were walking, and all of a sudden a bald eagle came out of nowhere and snapped them up in
Took
their
them
talons
away.
and flew away. So if you've got an extra plate of food, I mean, I can take it. I'd be like, I wouldn't say no. So then, A, you get more food. B, uh, you don't have to explain a story because who wouldn't believe a bald eagle stealing a date to a wedding?
Love it. Love it. Yeah, for me, basically, what I've done is is I have a backup essentially. So I don't have a date at this point. There is a potential option, obviously. Hey, single guys out there, I need a wedding date. No, but just in case I don't have anybody, I've already asked my friend Kieran to be my plus one. To
Oh,
be fair,
nice.
his girlfriend already jokes that I'm the other person in their relationship. She, in fact, refers to Kieran as my boyfriend, and we collectively refer to Kieran as our boyfriend, even though there is
Aw.
absolutely nothing sexual or romantic going on with Kieran and I. Um, I will take the title though, because I love that
Aw, that's
goofball.
sweet.
Uh, so I do have a backup plan, and we'll just dance, have a few drinks, and enjoy the night, and be there to celebrate my friend, who I am very happy is marrying the guy that she's marrying because he's awesome. They're a
Yay.
really good couple, and I'm really happy for them.
Yay.
Like genuinely happy for them.
Yeah, I just think that that stuff's so cool. I love shit like that. It just makes me giddy. A friend of mine told me he was proposing to his girlfriend. I literally clapped my hands like a toddler about to get Cheerios. I was bouncing. I
I
got so
love that
excited.
image.
I was wiggling. I was waddling around like a penguin. I was so happy.
That's so funny. He does waddle, just so everybody knows. When
Oh yeah.
Robertson gets excited, he waddles.
Okay, if I get either like if I'm content, I do a little wiggle and then I waddle away.
He's a
I
happy
don't
penguin.
I yeah. Yeah. People call me a puppy dog. They're like, you walk like a dog trying to wag its tail. I'm like, I do not.
Yeah.
I'm just cute.
No, no, you're cute, but you do wiggle, and I love it.
It it's well, actually, I was talking about this with my boss, co-teacher, and close friend. That we have a student, and she's 16, and whenever she's a very monotone, very quiet, doesn't usually show emotion. But if she gets excited about something, she starts bouncing up and down in her chair and like wiggling her arms and stuff. Like she gets so excited she can't contain it. And when I see people that get that excited, I'm like, yo, I want to get that excited about stuff
That's
more.
so
I
cute.
used to as a kid, and then I was taught not to do that as an adult, but I'm like, why the hell not? Life's
Oh,
too short to
unlearn
not
the
bounce
shit out
around.
of that.
Yeah, right?
Like, I have absolutely zero, and I do mean zero shame about getting excited over things. Like, I see a baby in public, I get so excited. I see a puppy dog, I scream puppy. They're a 15-year-old puppy dog, I still scream puppy. Like, I get so excited about things, and I react how I react, and I go, if anybody has a problem with that, then bye.
Yeah, I mean, I still as an well, the other day when you told me that we were going to order shawarma, I literally clapped my hands. I clap when I get excited.
Oh, I love that.
But you were there.
I know. I love it.
But you're just saying.
No,
Yeah.
I
Well,
love it.
speaking of something to get excited over,
Ooh, we have a last
another
question.
question. So, do you prefer to have 5 shorter shifts or like 3 12 hours? Like, do you want to just get it out of the way and do the longer shifts or get a few shorter ones? What's your take?
Hmm. For me, I would say I prefer the short shifts. Yeah, they eat up more of my day, but the way I look at it is if I were to do three long shifts, so say 3 12-hour shifts, I'm going to probably spend at least one full day recovering from the exhaustion that has creeped into my body. So one day is already a write off. Um, you also have to remember that depending on the day before, you're likely spending that day before doing all your prep for those 3 days, whether it's meal prep or whatever. So you're already losing most likely the bulk, if not all, of 2 full days, anyways, to work 3 days in a row, which leaves you only your 2 day weekend. So I would much rather work 5 shorter shifts in a row, and then get a weekend that I can actually enjoy, as well as potentially a morning and or evening to enjoy on each day as well. And I'm not losing then a day to just recover from the exhaustion. Because let's
Hmm.
get serious. At 12, if the shift is 12 hours, you're probably waking up 1 to 2 hours ahead of time, depending on travel time, depending on how long it takes you to get ready in the morning, as well as how long it takes you to get home after your shift, get ready for bed. Do you go right to bed or do you have other responsibilities? So your 12-hour day, in fact, more than likely looks like an 18-hour day.
Yeah.
So why would I want to do an 18-hour day of work just to be exhausted 3 days in a row and then basically shut down for 24 hours while I try to recover?
Yeah.
That's just not sustainable for the body. That's also so hard on both your mental and physical health. And to be honest, I think that 12-hour shifts like that, three in a row, are kind of abusive to the worker. Like when I hear of like nurses and doctors doing 12-hour shifts, I just think we need more doctors and nurses so that they don't have to work 60 hours a week.
Hmm.
Like that's just
Yeah.
like everybody deserves to have some downtime. Really. Like we're human. We need to fricking recover. We're not machines.
Oh yeah. Well, you're gonna be surprised by my answer then.
You're going to say the 12-hour days?
I like doing 12ers. It because in my mind, I'm like, I'm already there. I might as well just keep working because I don't like transit. I've never have. So I like cutting down the amount that I have to be on a train in a week. And then I get more days to just kind of lie down with my belly out and just do whatever I want to do. And yeah, no, I like just getting it out of the way while I'm there.
Mm-hmm. I get the perspective. It also depends on, are they 3 days in a row or do you have a break day between each?
True.
Right? Like there's other factors involved for sure. I think like in my mind, it's 3 12-hour days in a row. And that's just, ugh.
Yeah,
Like, blech. You can find other ways to commute that's not the train, but you only
true.
get one body. And if you're so worn down and destroyed by the end of it, it's like, okay, what's the point?
True.
Right, like we're in a society where we the way our society is extremely capitalist, so we don't actually work for any self-fulfillment. We work to pay bills. That's the only reason why we work so that we can pay taxes. We work so that, yeah, food in our mouth, our food in our bellies, and roof over our head for sure. But it's all because we work to make money, to pay bills, to pay for stuff. To me, that's a toxic cycle because you're not actually being fulfilled. You're just working so that you can pay for shit, whether that's electricity, roof over your head, taxes, whatever. And often, what we work because the poverty, because minimum wage is not living wage, um, especially in the U.S., like where some places are paying them like $8 or less an hour. But even in Canada, like in Ontario, we get $14 an hour, 14.25 now actually. But that's actually not living wage for almost everywhere in Ontario. So we work to then not actually make enough money to pay for bills and then buy shit on credit, which then puts us in debt. And it becomes a vicious spiral of just debt accumulation. Right.
Yeah.
So
Oh wow, I just hit puberty right there.
you're welcome. Uh,
Thank you.
I
Thinking
don't know
about
why I'm
taxes
saying
maybe.
you're welcome.
Yeah, thinking
Um,
about taxes makes me hit puberty.
right, so like work, I don't know, work is odd. I think that that's part of the reason why I think the short shifts are good, because then you can still have some time to enjoy, and you need less
Fair.
time to recover from it.
Hmm. I will say, if I relate it to my life, I constantly like to be working. I mean, of course, these days it's a bit harder to stay working all the time, but
Yeah.
like before, I was working, God, all day, every day, and I just, for me, I'm very fortunate. I'm very lucky that I've been able to find the balance between like, uh, I made the decision like I would rather just be struggling, just be contracting, just be doing that, and only like solely doing work that fulfills me and that I love, than rather take a nice, cushy, comfortable job that um, will provide me with more. Yes, but it just doesn't fulfill me. So I would rather be working all day, every day, doing things that I absolutely adore doing than either of the two options. If I may add my own third option.
Well, and it also depends on, do you do a job? Do you work doing something that you actually enjoy doing? Right? Like I'm
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in working at a job that doesn't feel like work. And I don't mean be a job where you do a job where you can be lazy,
Yeah.
but like find your passion and work in that. So like you are busy and working all the time, but all of your jobs I think are ones that fulfill you,
Oh my
right?
God. Yeah.
There's a lot of people who don't have that, and I think it's
Mhm.
super important to find a job that you like, and that you don't dread going to.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Because then that changes it. Like I would gladly work 60 plus hours a week at a job that I love to do, rather than, a 40-hour office job that does nothing for me.
Oh,
That is
totally.
soul crushing. Now, some people love office jobs, and all the power to
Mm-hmm.
you because someone's got to do them.
Yeah.
Who's not my bag, baby.
Yeah. I just like twirling around, screaming a couple words, sing one note, and then people clap. That's what I do.
Singing wrong lyrics to Sondheim musicals. It's fine.
Yeah, which I didn't realize, but apparently my students have been writing them down.
That is adorable. I really hope they write a full song for you that's just your sung lyrics.
Well, yeah, they're like, we're gonna rewrite Into the Woods, and it's just gonna be your version of it. I was like, oh god, it's
That is
not a good
so
idea.
funny. I love that. I really love that.
Yeah, nah, they're great.
Well, that
In
brings
case I
us.
haven't made that obvious.
Yeah. Well, I believe that brings us to the end of this episode.
What?
This has been Quick Call an Adult. You are more than welcome to at any times email us a question or several questions at quick.callanadult@gmail.com. Please follow us on Facebook for updates on our episodes, as well as like and subscribe and rate us in whatever podcast platform that you are listening to us on. One very positive bonus note: we did launch with Halloween our YouTube channel where I will be uploading all of our podcasts. For those, as I've had a few people who've said they like to listen, but they don't have a Spotify or an Apple podcast and account, and they don't want them. So we want to make it accessible. So like, subscribe to us on there, and please, please, please stay tuned for updates. We adore the engagement and are very excited that folks are listening. In fact, we actually have one person, I believe, in the UK who has now returned to our podcast for 7 episodes.
Hey,
So shout out to
welcome
our
back.
one or multiple. I mean, we don't know if it's unique to one person or unique downloads, but to our new people in the UK who are listening, thank you. I'm glad that we reached you at the UK because that's pretty damn cool to me.
Yeah, we appreciate all of you, and we appreciate all of the fact that, like, you know what, y'all are great. So thank you. I appreciate y'all. Follow
Sorry, I
us
need
on
to
the
correct
Facebook.
myself.
Oh,
I just pulled up the page. Sorry, the person who keeps recurring is actually from Spain. Sorry to our lovely listener and or listeners from Spain. I apologize. We shouted out the wrong country. We do have a listener in the UK. Thank you for listening. But Kingdom of Spain, as it is listed, thank you so much for tuning in.
I'm mad.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Just kidding. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, and follow your dreams. Because with a smile like that, who could say no to you?
I was about to say follow your friends, but that's just stalking.
Follow your friends, watch them tuck themselves into bed, and see how they get out of bed in the morning so you can answer the questions yourselves.
Bye.
Toodles.